I'm Drew,
And I'm Tony.
and this is Back for Our Future, the show that looks back at our past to inform us about the future, maybe. We don't know. We're still exploring that. Good to see you, buddy. How are you?
Good, man. How about yourself?
Well, I just had a catastrophic computer meltdown in the other room. That's all right. I'll figure it out in a minute. But for now, we can talk about some movies, some music, some delightful times. Because we're stepping into March, the end of March. We split March in half last episode.
Yeah.
To a short recap, we spent a little time with our good friend Chuck Norris, God rest him. But now we're back to close out March. There's some pretty good movies in this mix here for the back half of March,
Oh, yeah.
1995.
Good movies, and we're gonna talk about the month in album releases, and there's a lot of good ones in there.
Banger
And
City. We like
yeah,
those.
and then we got we'll finish out today with talking about some rock and roll Hall of Fame voting because that's been finalized from the fan perspective. Just from the fan perspective, still got to go through like the 2,000 person panel of different people to actually vote people in. So that won't be until next week. But
Well, that works. But at least we can at least have that discussion. It's always fun to have that. Like the last time we talked about that was a fun bit of dialogue. I had a few off show comments from listeners.
yeah, of course.
stirred
So,
stirring the pot.
it always does. It
Yeah.
always does. Yeah.
Well, let's jump in. It's March 24th, 1995. Three movies come out that day. The first of which is is it a Stephen King piece? Is this
Oh
movie
yeah.
Stephen King? Yeah.
Yeah. Stephen King book, which is the movie we're talking about is Dolores Claiborne,
Yes,
and
sir.
of course they bring back Kathy Bates because it worked. It worked once. Why would it not work twice? And they were right because this movie did make good money. So you know both of
Yes.
her both of her movies made great money. So yeah, I mean it was good. It was like a $13 million movie, made like 47 million.
Good gravy. We've both spent time. You more so with than I did on that movie, but we spent some time with Kathy Bates in the beginning of our career.
Yeah,
She's a very nice lady.
she's very sweet. Yeah, she's really easy to work with, and that was a little movie. I mean, that was by no means like a big budget. She'd done nothing but bigger stuff lead into that film. So it was like that was a smaller film, but and the movie we're talking about is Love Liza, so check that one out. But it's her and Philip Seymour Hoffman, Jack Kaler. It's a wonderful film. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So Dolores Claiborne, I've seen it, but it's not my go-to movie with Stephen King for her. I mean, I just it's nothing wrong with it. I just when I fall back on it, I this is not the one I land on. So, what do you got on it? Obviously, you said the budget it did really well. The cast,
yeah,
I don't even remember the cast in full on this film.
no, it's great. I mean, it's got a lot of big names attached to the movie, right? So it's Kathy Bates, Jennifer Jason Leigh, David Strathairn, John C. Riley, Christopher Plummer, and of course it's directed by Taylor Hackford, who's big, and of course
Yeah.
screenplay by Tony Gilroy, who did the Bourne trilogy,
Yep.
and also did a little movie in the Star Wars universe called Rogue One. He wrote that as part of that pretty big movie, and then it's music by Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
does a lot bigger than that? I mean that's a pretty big group of filmmakers getting together for this film, and it's a good one. It's a psychological thriller. I remember I remember getting this book for my mom.
Oh
So I
yeah.
got this book for my mom, and she read this book, and then thought it would be, she's like, "Yeah, this should be a pretty good movie." It's a pretty good movie. I mean, I enjoyed it. So yeah, I mean, I saw
It's
it.
it.
I saw it at Carmiketon at the time.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of the Stephen King, there's always like the diehard Stephen King fan,
Yeah,
uh, Jeff Etheridge, one of the guys we've worked with over time, and their relationship to the book, and then whatever movie comes out based on it. Recently, I did a little work on Life of Chuck. That one came out, and it's really an interesting cycle of highs and lows. One of my favorite films. I guess it was last year, a year before, whenever it came out, which was the Long Walk Home or whatever it was called.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Um, Loved it. Long Walk was great. I absolutely adored it. But then there's been other stuff like I enjoyed Life of Chuck. It's a little gut wrenching. But there's been some other Stephen King stuff that I wasn't so into. However, this is one of the ones that I do remember. Like I said, I remember seeing it. It's been a long time, but I do remember it being good. And really, if you look at the cast and just you bring it all together, Taylor Hackford, and then you tie in Danny Elfman, you're really, like you said earlier, you're looking at like a pretty much a perfect combo for success. Like this is the recipe to give you some return on investment.
Yeah, I'll watch Kathy Bates in pretty much anything. I mean, she's, I know I see everything anyway, but she's pretty awesome. So, I always like supporting her stuff. She's in the new TV show Matlock as well.
Yep.
And that's good too. The
Yeah.
remake. She's good
Yeah.
in that. She's she's always awesome to watch, and I enjoy have gotten to see her over the years do lots of different things, including being on The Office,
Yeah.
which I which I thought was great. She's just wonderful.
She
So
is. She really is great. And that's nice counter programming against, at the time,
yeah,
the Wayans were just, especially Damon, was just like slaying it. He was doing really well. And this is one of his films that I enjoyed. I remember seeing this. But anyway, it's a movie called Major Payne.
yep. Yeah.
And yeah, go ahead.
No, it's great. I mean, listen, I'm one of the biggest Wayne's fans you're gonna find. I mean, I love just about everything any of them have ever done.
Yeah.
Going all the way back, I'm gonna get you sucker and all that stuff. I mean, just everything from then on. Keenan Ivory and Damon and Marlon and Sean and just everybody that's come since then. They've all got kids, and I like Damon Jr. a lot now, and everything else. So, yeah, this is another one. And Damon's pretty big in the '90s, and Major Payne's a movie that he comes out with, and it's funny. It's a $10 million movie that made like over 30, so it did well. Um, cool cast here too. It's got Damon and it's got Karen Parsons, who was in um, Fresh Prince of Bel Air,
Yep.
and it's got Michael Ironside, who's kind of a nice contrast to Damon. His silliness, and then you got more serious actor in there. But yeah, I mean it's a funny movie, and I saw it with my parents back in the day at Carmike as well, and yeah, good stuff. And it's kind of a loose remake, and I don't think people realize this, but of course it was a lot different, but it's kind of a loose remake of a 1955 movie that stars Charlton Heston. So.
Oh, interesting. I did not realize that at all. I never knew that.
So yeah, I mean that's kind of the gist of it, which is not as silly of a film as this one, because I mean David Wayne's kind of plays this character pretty silly when you watch it, but I did enjoy it quite a bit. I mean I love the Wayans, man. I'm looking forward to their new scary movie that's coming out
Yeah,
this
yeah,
year.
for sure. For sure. And then the other thing that dropped is Tall Tale. I kind of remember it's animation, is it not?
It's not animation,
Okay,
uh,
so not the one I remember.
but anyway, it's a cool movie. So it's kind of a Western adventure fantasy film about a kid who's played by Nick Stahl, and these like tall tale um, figures come back to help him save this town from a greedy developer.
Got it.
So kind of like all these people that come back, like Pecos Bill and those types of characters, right? And it's like it's good cast. Scott Glenn, Oliver Platt. We've talked about Nick Stahl, Patrick Swayze, Catherine O'Hara, Stephen Lang. Didn't do particularly well at the box office, where it made like 9 million on I think it was on a $30 million budget, somewhere in there. But did better when it got to video.
The old
But
secondary market game.
secondary market that we love to talk about. Yeah, it's but much better there, but not as big. But it's got all those guys, right? It's like Babe and the Blue Ox and Calamity Jane and all those tall tale figures, and they all make appearances in this. It's kind of fun.
Okay. Yeah, I for some reason in my brain it was a cartoon, but maybe I'm mixing it in with something else. Who knows? You know how my brain works. It does whatever it wants. Psychotic up there. It's like 12 Monkeys. But
American
all
Tail, getting it mixed up with American Tail, Fievel.
no, I thought it was. I knew it was a western. Obviously, Tall Tale informed it, but for some reason I thought it was animated. I don't know. I don't remember it. It could have been one of those movies that sat on the shelf at Suncoast, and I walked past it a dozen times, and there was a kids animated film next to it. But Nick Stahl, like the same Nick Stahl that's an adult now, that shows up in a lot of comedies.
Same Stahl that was in Terminator 3.
Oh yeah, okay, got it. I'm thinking of the dark haired guy. This is the light haired guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna go on to a more, frankly, one of the weirdest movies to ever exist, in my opinion. Um, Based on a comic book. This is the next week on March 31st. We got to talk about the soundtrack. And there's another movie with it, which is one of the most legendarily perfect films ever made for a lot of people. Me too. I absolutely enjoy it. But this movie, before we get to the next one, is Tank Girl, starring Lori Petty.
Yeah, we saw this together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not a movie that did particularly well. It was like a $25 million movie. It made like 7 million, 6, 7 million in there. So, but you and I see these types of movies all the time. We would watch movies like this all the time together. You know,
Yeah.
movies that necessarily huge hits, but we used to go away liking them. You know, uh, this was another one of those kind of strange film, no doubt about it. You know, a post-apocalyptic sci-fi film. Tank Girl. It's every bit as silly as you might think it is in some spots, but Lori Petty's pretty cool in it. I thought it's got a really good cast. I mean, because it's Lori Petty and it's Ice T and Naomi Watts and Malcolm McDowell and kind of a cool group. And
What's interesting about this is as it being a comic book or manga. I think it's comic book, not manga, but a comic book movie was, or inspired by one at least, is that it felt like you were watching a comic book. Like it kind of had those elements of not just like the MCU where it's just you kind of know what's going on, or the next closest thing is Ang Lee's The Hulk. His had like multi panels and he did all kinds of stuff that made it feel. But this had like that comic booky vibe to it throughout the entire film, like the stylized push it held all the way through. Who directed it? Who put this together?
uh, that was Rachel Talalay.
Okay. So it
Yeah.
wasn't anybody that's like a big brand name in terms of the later career elements. But hey, got a big movie released and it had a hell of a soundtrack. I mean, a hell of a soundtrack, if I remember correctly.
No, it's a great soundtrack, no doubt about it. Of course, the big song that comes off of it is "Army of Me," Bjork. With that,
Yeah.
that's the big song that came off of it, and it's got Devo, it's got the Magnificent Bastards, it's got L7 uh, with Shove. It's a
Oh
great
yeah.
song. Yeah, uh,
Excuse me.
Holes in it. Bush is on it as well with Bomb and Portishead. Joan Jett and Paul Westerberg do a duet, which is funny
Interesting.
because it was originally supposed to be Joan Jett and Greg Graffin from Bad Religion,
Oh, that would
and
have been cool.
that would have been cool. But there was some kind of contractual issue or something like that. I couldn't do it, so it ended up being Paul Westerberg. Belly is on it. Veruca Salt, Ice T, of course, is on it since he's in the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it's a pretty good soundtrack. It's loaded. But yeah, the one that everyone kind of heard because it got a lot of airplay was the Bjork song "Army of Me." That was pretty big at the time.
Yeah, and look, let's be honest. Like that song is a banger. Helmet even covered it at one point, and their version was a banger. That whole soundtrack. What's interesting is how '90s that soundtrack is, and how '90s this movie is. And what I mean by that is like talking again about the '90s element of like they would push weird ideas out, and this was a $30 million weird idea. Is that what you said? That 30 it was around $30 million budget, something like that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I mean, big risk on a big idea, very conceptual, way out there, and that's the thing that one of my favorite things about the show is when we go through that, it is identifying that moment. Like you don't see this kind of risk as much anymore. You just don't see this kind of like push, but also this is just quintessential. The soundtrack reinforces the quintessential '90s ness of Tank Girl and where they went with it. So I tried to watch it with the girls. It was on Pluto, not for our commercial for Pluto yet, but it was on Pluto one day, and I tried to watch it with the girls. Uh, they didn't get far. It just didn't hold their attention. It wasn't for them.
it's the way it goes sometimes. Of
Yeah,
course, Rachel Talalay also directed um, Final Nightmare Freddy's Dead
yeah.
and Ghost in the Machine. So she did have some. She was in this genre. She liked to be in the genre for during that stretch of time. So kind of cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting side note for anybody that's curious about the filmmaking side. Is like a lot of times if you become quote a genre director, then you just get genre films. That's just how it kind of rolls out, and the individuals that are able to break through that and do multiples, different types of movies. They're rare, but those that can do it are the brand names that we all know and love. But good for her. She had a career. That's good.
Yeah, and of course, Dan Winston did a lot of the prosthetics and stuff in this movie.
Yeah.
Just of course, his work is legendary, and we don't need to even go through his catalog. It's,
Yeah, no, he's a monster.
he-
Monster. Yeah. Then that goes up against, arguably, for a lot of people, the greatest Chris Farley film ever made. For a lot of people, this is the greatest. It's my personal favorite because of its. I just really enjoy him and David Spade in it, and that is going to be the movie Tommy Boy.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, and it's weird because this movie's even become bigger after its release. Like, I mean, it really blew up. Like, it was decent. It did decent at the theater, right? It's like a $20 million movie that made like 33 million, so that's pretty solid. It's not bad. And then it did. It blew up on home video, and it's
Oh yeah.
been a legendary film ever since. Uh, as comedies go, and it's loaded with great cast. I mean, you got Farley and Spade and Bo Derek and Brian Dennehy and Rob Lowe, and it's like so it's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean it's a classic. Peter Segal directing, and I mean it's got all the quintessential people you'd want associated with a comedy. Lorne Michaels producing, and yeah, I mean,
And it's also, to me, it's Farley's most quotable movie, and I
close.
mean, there's a lot. I mean, I don't know. I think one of the most common lines from the film is "fat guy in a little coat." I mean,
Yeah,
you know, everybody said it. If you grew up in that era and you've seen the movie,
yeah,
anytime you put on something too small, you did fat guy in a little coat. You just
no,
couldn't. It just happened. There's been a lot of memes. It's interesting because I've seen it recirculate recently. There's a really funny one where somebody took the scene in which in which they're pitching the product to one of the car people,
it,
and they put it into Shark Tank.
yeah, I've seen that. It's pretty
It's
funny.
so good. I mean, that's
Good.
just. But it's interesting because that's a timeless thing at this point. Like this movie, for as you said, was not like a massive box office hit, but it became a timeless classic in the sense of like it's lived through multiple generations, and it still carries, no pun intended, weight in the sense of like it does what it needs to do, and it's still funny as hell. So great movie.
Yeah, I saw this a couple times at theaters. I mean, I saw this like the original Carmike 10, and then I saw it down at Movies 10, and yeah, I mean it's a classic. I mean, I love this film, but the thing about it that so sometimes when people talk about Tommy Boy or Black Sheep or any of these movies with that have Farley and Spade, they often talk about Farley, of course, because he's deceased, and he's a legend now. Of course, he's even more of a legend because he's not around anymore, and so we only have the work that he created before he left. But David Spade, this movie isn't just funny if it's only Chris Farley. Spade is
Yep.
really good in this.
Yeah.
People forget that sometimes. Like David Spade makes Chris Farley work in the film
A
because
hundred percent.
he's got so many great one-liners. He's so sarcastic with them, and he's such a great straight guy that Chris Farley's silliness really works off Spade. So those guys really countered each other well, and that's what made them such a great team. But when people talk about some of these guys, sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, well, Chris Farley carried Spade," or that's not true, man. Spade's
No
awesome.
way. Yeah, yeah. No, it doesn't work. None of the movies were there. And if you look, I'm pretty sure there's probably box office correlation. Like when Spade wasn't with Farley, it wasn't the same thing. When it was a starring role for Farley, it didn't work as well. Like David Spade makes that combination works. It's almost like a Laurel and Hardy type vibe, and like you don't get the laughter without having David Spade being able to deliver these beautiful sarcastic lines, um, and and being there for the moment behind it or the moment preceding it. Like that's what he does so brilliantly, and he tees him up. And there's so many aside jokes. That's the other side of it. Is David Spade is throwing little jabs, Mark Norman style, just like out of the side of his mouth. That if you're not paying attention, you may miss some of these little moments because you might still be laughing at something else. But like he throws so many great one-liners out there that make me wonder if part of what he was doing uh, was like a little bit on the improv side. Like they gave them some wiggle room to play because that's what it feels like.
No, absolutely. It's just like the show Seinfeld. You can't do the show without Jerry Seinfeld. You
Right.
know, all the other guys are great. They're all spoof. They're all silly and they're over the top in some spots. But what makes it great is the fact that you got Jerry kind of coming over the top. With his sarcasm. After they've done their bit, he's got something to say, and it's that's what makes it great. And Jerry Seinfeld's a lot like David Spade. You got
Yeah.
to have that straight guy. You got to have that guy who you know kind of winds up the comedy. He kind of
Yeah.
you know you know ties it all together at the end of the bit. And then that's what those guys do so well. And Spade's a master at it. He's really good at that. So I mean that's one of his that's kind of his trademark. So I mean it's great that those guys got paired together.
100%. 100%. After so that kind of closes out March
Oh,
essentially. Go ahead.
I,
Did
wa-
you have something else?
I actually do want to talk about something on that because that soundtrack's pretty amazing too.
Oh, I remember. I owned it. I remember buying it.
Yeah, and I do this every once in a while with you. I'll send you the video every once in a while. I'll send you the Funk Junkies.
Yeah.
I,
Yep.
I love it loud. I'll send it to you like at 3 or 4 in the morning and let it sit there for you to work out or whatever. But I love that song, man. It's a Kiss remake. I love it loud by the Funk Junkies. If you have not heard this version of this song, it was pretty popular back then. It got played quite a bit, but it's pretty amazing. Junkies, I don't know if they're. I think they're kind of still around somewhere, but I've never seen. I don't know if they're still around really.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but um, but I think they pop up every once in a while or something like that with a different lineup. But they were pretty fun back in the day, and this song is amazing, and that soundtrack's pretty cool because it's one of those soundtracks that does a lot of bits from it does a lot of bits from the movie
Yep.
to tie in all the songs. So it's kind of cool, and it's got like Paul Westerberg and Primal Scream and uh, Tommy Shaw from Styx, and it's neat.
Yeah, yeah, it was a fun one. I like I said, I remember listening to it. I remember buying it. You're not buying it where, but I just remember owning this particular piece. And Tommy Boy's another one of those where the soundtrack and the movie reiterated themselves so well that like I would listen to the soundtrack and then I owned the movie when it eventually came out. I had it on VHS and then eventually DVD. It was always one of those collectible. It was always in my collection. It was like a permanent collection film. It could be turned on at any point, and I was happy with it. So
Of course, Come On Eileen
yeah,
is on. Soul Coughing's on that as well, and yeah, I mean it's REM. It's the end of the world. Yeah, I mean it's a great soundtrack, no doubt.
it's a good one for sure. And it kind of takes us into the music because it you've teed this up, and I'm both excited and a little bit scared about like what my Spotify algorithm's about to be after we have this conversation.
It's pretty loaded. I mean, March 1995. There's a lot of big albums come out. I mean, it's we're gonna go through them real quick here. Of course, there's always more that come out. I try to go through the highlights. There's a huge list, but I mean, I try to go through the highlights of the ones that we used to listen to or people have heard about. And we'll start off with VV by Archers of Loaf.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Beggar on a Beach of Gold by Mike and the Mechanics.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good record. Here's one. The self-titled album from the Presidents of the United States of America.
No way. So this has got like lump on it, right?
This has got all their big early hits. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
What a
got
banger. What's
well,
funny is Morgan, president of our company, was, I don't remember who she was. I think it was one of my other employees, Matt. And Morgan said something about like, have you ever heard the Presidents of the United States of America, and or whatever, Presidents of USA? And Matt's like, yeah, I've heard of them. And Morgan's like, you've never heard this song? And it was Peaches. It was
no.
They were playing Peaches, and he was like, you never heard the song? He goes, no, I've never heard the song. And so she was like, this is Presidents of the USA or whatever. She does the whole thing. And he's like, oh, I thought you were actually talking about presidents. It's like, this guy works for me, folks.
Like I said, this guy works for me.
Anyway, it was just one of those ones. But that album they play a lot of Pusa on Lithium on Sirius XM, and you know we listen to all their songs, and like, because for the most part they're family friendly songs until you understand some of the lyrics, and then.
Right.
But even then, they're still in a coded way that it's not direct. It's like a Disney joke. Like all of them are in that way. They're a great band. Love them. Seen them live. They were super good live.
Yeah, you and I saw them live.
Sure
We
did.
over there and saw them live with Jay,
Yep.
and we went to and that theater. I mean that venue's gone now.
That's correct.
Pensacola. That's the same place where we saw Primus.
Yep.
So yeah, we saw that was the night that somebody threw a bolt. Do you remember this? Do you remember this incident?
Yeah.
Somebody threw a bolt up on the stage, hit one of the guys,
Yeah.
and they stopped the show.
Yep.
And then they were, like, hey, if you're gonna throw stuff at us, we're heading out.
Yeah. That was the same show that the power went out.
Right. Yes.
And I believe, was the band Super Deluxe? It was something like
Deluxe.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And the drummer from Super Deluxe came out and just started doing skits because there was no power, and he's like rowing himself across the stage in his drum cases. Like he put on a one-man show. Like this guy just put on a one-man show, and it was brilliant. And that's why it's burned in my memory. Is like, hey man, in times of panic, just put on your own skit. It was brilliant.
No, it was great. Super Deluxe was great. Presidents of the United States of America were great, and they eventually everybody played. They went out, they finished their set, but yeah, I mean it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Great show. Happy we went, and it's funny because this album gets released twice in the same year. So this is the Pop Llama release, which is a indie label, and then of course they get picked up after that, like a couple months later, and it gets its wider release. But this is the album with all the big ones on it, and it's going to get released like a few days before the Bends by Radiohead.
Oh my god!
Pretty big record. Yeah, it's a good record.
Yeah, I mean the Bends is that's incredible. So that's their follow up right before this would have been Pablo Honey, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's got a lot of the great songs on it, man. High and Dry and Fake Plastic Trees and The Bends and Street Spirit and My Iron Lung and I mean all the classics that the Radiohead fans love to hear. I like Radiohead. I know Jeff Etheridge is a huge fan.
Oh yeah, he's obsessed. It's just funny to me. It's funny because like he came up there. Go ahead.
He came up here to see Tom York.
Yeah. I was about to say, yeah, he's gone down the rabbit hole. He's got a patch. He's got a sticker. He's in the fan club.
uh, that same day, the self-titled release from Elastica comes out.
Oh, that song is going to get played for eternity.
It no, it is. It's known for one song, but it's a good song. I mean, it's great, and yeah, I mean, it's a good album. Um, let's see, we got I think the next day, 100% Fun by Matthew Sweet.
Oh, that's a good record. That's a really good record.
Yeah, Sick of Myself, great song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did not like Matthew Sweet back when we were younger men, and you
I
did.
wasn't a big fan at all.
No,
No, it's,
I liked the song "Girlfriend" whenever that comes out. But like
that's
you,
that.
yeah, it's after this. You
No,
were. Is it before it?
yeah, this is that's the
Okay,
album.
got it. But you were a big fan, and then later on in life, I like thanks to Lithium and other stuff, Matthew Sweet will come on. I'm like, God bless, I missed out on a really great chunk of music because like his stuff is really good. It's like Frank Black. I like that one song, Los Angeles. I like the Pixies, but some of the Pixie stuff. But like, you were a big fan of Frank Black, and then eventually I caught up and I was like, oh, I get it now. Like I
Right.
get it. Yeah, yeah,
And it was funny because you were always huge. You were a big alternative music fan and stuff. You
yeah.
just there's people you just weren't as heavy. Maybe they were a little more melodic and
I
that.
didn't like named. I didn't like named people. If you had a name, if your band was a name, I didn't like it.
You're right. You're right. You did do that. Here's a good album, man. I love this song. It's very melodic but this is a great album. Above by Mad Season.
Oh, that was Alice in Chains and somebody else
Oh yeah,
together and stuff, right?
and uh, River of Deceit is an amazing song.
Yeah, yeah.
I yeah, I mean it's Lane Staley, of course, and Mike McCready. Yeah, I mean it's a great group. But of course and then Mark Lanigan is in that
Yeah,
group
yeah.
as well.
It
So
was a
yeah,
super group. I remember that. I remember that record coming out and it being. I mean, it's knowing now what we know about Lane Staley. It's dense. It's a dense record.
yeah. Well, the story behind Mad Season is a couple of them met in rehab
Yep.
and kind of decided to form this group. So I mean it's kind of deep,
Yeah.
and the music is very melodic and dark in spots and just really good. I mean
Yep.
it's a great album. If people haven't heard it for a while, you should go back and check it out because it's a nice one. Um, Same day, the Goo Goo Dolls released A Boy Named Goo.
No, I could care less.
That's a big album though.
I know, but they're up there with like overplay. I remember when it came out, and I remember enjoying it. But then it's part of like their overplayedness is what
Yeah.
killed me from ever. And I know you enjoy them. Like I have another friend, Scotty, that loves them. Seen them live, paid the VIP experience. I just, for whatever reason, they got so overplayed for me. I couldn't get past it. Back in those days, I just couldn't get past it.
Well, you got the song Name, which has been on the radio probably not even millions of times, billions of times.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's been so. You're right. Like that song is overplayed. I like some of their other stuff that were little because again the Goo Goo Dolls started out as like a punk band
Yep.
for people
Yep.
who know,
Yep.
and so they were like they were like an underground punk band for the longest time, and so those are the types of albums they were releasing, and then they became kind of a little more poppy with a rock element to them. Like Long Way Down is a heavier song on that
Yeah.
album,
Yeah.
and it's a good song. But yeah, I mean I do like the record. I mean I like the band. I mean I don't really ever hold a you know me. I've never really held a grudge for bands changing their sound because I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like I know what they're trying to do. It's like trying to appease a wider audience to try to I mean this is their job. They're
Right.
trying.
I get
They
it. They're
are,
trying to make a living. Yeah. Yeah.
so I mean
As you grow up, you learn real quick you got to make money somehow.
you start to understand this stuff, especially if you're in creative fields. You
Yeah.
get you're like, oh wait a minute. Like I told somebody that a long time ago when a guy that was a PA. He PA'd for me. Like I had been in the industry for like 18 years at this point, and this guy's like, "Oh, I'm only going to make movies and stuff that have to be made. Stuff that I believe in." And I'm like, "You're going to change really quick on that." I was like, "You're going to find yourself making stuff you didn't even think you'd want to make." You know what I
Yep.
mean? Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, stuff that you think stinks, but it's a paycheck. You'll be happy to do it. I
Oh,
mean, that's just the way it goes. So
absolutely. It's
yeah.
nice to have that vision when you're young, but reality is going to pop it real quick.
Same day, another album that I think you it's like respect it, but not necessarily love it. Self-titled Collective Soul album.
Yeah, yeah. What's interesting is I didn't hate Collective Soul. I liked them. They became another way too played band.
Definitely, definitely. This is all those great songs, right? December and The
Yep.
World I Know and Where the River Flows. So it's this weird album, right? Because again, you've got these like melodic pop songs like December and The World I Know. They're very nice. They're very well orchestrated and everything else. But then you got songs like Gel that was on,
Gel's a great track.
yeah, it was on the Jerky Boys soundtrack as well, and that ended up on this album as well. And then Where the River Flows, which is also kind of a heavier song.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, they have they're just one of those bands again. They can make kind of melodic songs and they can make heavier tracks. And I always enjoyed Collective Soul. I never had a real problem with them.
No, I just the I love the song Gel still.
Yeah,
I mean it's a good track. Like it just but
it's
the
not overplayed like some of the other ones. Some of
that's
the other
correct. That's exactly right. When I hear it, I'm excited to hear it again. I'm like, oh, Collective Soul, and then eventually a top 40 station or a soft rock station starts playing Collective Soul, and I'm like, I'm out.
um, Encomium, a tribute to Led Zeppelin.
I don't remember this record.
You don't remember it? We listened to this. I had this, and so you and I we listened to this a decent bit. But it's got all these interesting people playing Led Zeppelin tracks.
Sick.
These were really popular albums back in the '90s. Like these type albums to bands. And you got like Four Non Blondes playing Misty Mountain Hop. You got Hootie and the Blowfish. Hootie and the Blowfish actually had a really good track on here. Hey Hey, What Can I Do?
Oh
Hootie,
man.
a pretty good song.
Yeah.
Sheryl Crow. You got Dancing Days by Stone Temple Pilots. This is where this comes from.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Another great track, and I know you. When I say these, you'll start to remember all these. Tangerine by Big Head Todd and the Monsters.
Oh yeah. 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 Yeah.
Uh, Thank You by Duran Duran. Out of Ties by Blind Melon. Good Times, Bad Times by Cracker. Your
Oh,
favorite
this
band.
is
But that's a good
now.
song.
Now I love them. The funny thing about Crackers, now I love them. This is good. I'm gonna have to Spotify this because it's another who's who of '90s alternative, but like covering Led Zeppelin is fun. Like that's a
Well,
cool idea now.
yeah, and of course, Custard Pie by Helmet and David Yao of Jesus Lizard.
Yeah,
That's
there we go.
the album.
Yeah.
Uh, Four Sticks by the Rollins Band. Yeah, I mean, Robert Plant, Tori Amos, Down by the Seaside.
Yeah.
It was a great album. So yeah, you should definitely check that one out.
Yeah.
Everything Is Wrong by Moby comes out the
Ooh,
same.
that's a good record.
Me Against the World by Tupac.
There we go.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Um, Made in England by Elton John comes out
Okay.
like a week later. Here's one that I really love because I love this band. This is huge. Brain Blood Volume by Ned's Atomic Dustbin.
Oh yeah, this is their second record, right?
Now this is like their third record.
Third record. Third record. Okay.
It's gonna be after. It's gonna be after Kill Your Television and Are You Normal?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is yeah, but this album was magnificent as well. Ned's Atomic Dustbin, man, I love them so much, and
Yeah.
not just
They were your
because
jam for the
yeah,
longest time.
and not just because they were on the So I Married an Axe Murderer soundtrack, but they're spectacular. I mean, I know they tour in England still to this day. They do shows there.
Yeah.
I wish to God they'd come here and just it's anywhere in the state. If they came anywhere in the States, I'd find a way to get to them.
Yeah, I'm with you. I get
Yeah,
it. I think it would be fun. It would be fun only because of how many conversations we've had about Ned's Atomic Dustbin. At one point, I don't know if it stayed this way. They had two bass players. We talked. We knew everything about,
yeah.
or you did, and then I knew from you.
They had two bass players because that's we originally didn't listen to them all that much. We found them because, well, the Story Mary Axford soundtrack helped us, no doubt, and the guy with the hair at the in the mall at the
Yeah,
record,
yeah.
yeah, it was like telling us about certain alternative bands as well, and that's kind of how we found them. Here's an album that I know you love, and I say that with extreme sarcasm.
God.
Uh, dopes, dopes to infinity. Monster Magnet.
Yeah, not a
And
fan.
that song.
No. Here's the thing, though. So, what happens later in life? I become a fan of stoner metal, and Monster Magnet is considered a stoner metal band.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Yeah, and I get that. I get that song served to me a lot on stoner metal playlists, a lot. Along with Clutch, who I didn't like either. I was not a fan of Clutch growing up at all. Now I love him. I've seen him four times, five
You and
times.
I, you and I have seen them before.
Yep,
Together.
yep. But I did not care for him as a young guy. I could not get into him. But now I think they're great. But Monster Magnet, same thing. Not a This song used to annoy me because it would take up time on Alternative Nation
Yeah,
or 120 minutes, and I'd be
yeah.
pissed.
Well, Alternative Nation, it's stuck there because at least with 120, you got a couple hours.
Yeah,
So you could stand one or two bad videos there.
yeah.
But on Alternative Nation, you had 1 hour, and you were like, if they had two bad videos, you used to get really mad about it. It was
Well,
funny.
the rest of the time, ironically, was spent on commercial breaks, which now I do for a living. But like it was like you get 32 minutes of music, so you get six songs, five songs, whatever it is, and that's the end of it.
Here's the one I still like this band a lot. Navid by Our Lady Peace.
Yeah, early pieces. I just listened to them recently I was on a road trip and they came on and I forgot how actually good of an alternative band they were. They got a little overplayed, and I think that turned me away from them. But listening to them now, there's enough distance where the annoyance has worn off. They're
Right.
good, dude. They're a great
Yeah,
band.
they actually just came through St. Louis touring, um, but I didn't actually get to go, so it happens. Relish by Joan Osborne
Oh yeah, okay.
here. Let's see what else we got. Yes by Morphine.
Oh, there we go. Little saxophone action.
Yeah, love Morphine. I saw them at on the Horde tour, like when the Horde tour like opened up and really started having a lot of different bands like Primus and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
Morphine. They were amazing. I met them. Of course, lead singer's passed away now.
yep, yep.
But yeah, they were wonderful guys, really sweet dudes, and just one of the most amazing bands you'll ever listen to. So unique
Yep,
from anybody else you could possibly listen to.
yep.
I mean, it's a drummer, a bass player, and the saxophonist, and the saxophonist plays two saxophones, and he plays both of them at the same time on stage.
Yeah,
The most
incredible.
unique experience you'll ever watch.
It's incredible.
They're amazing. The Beacon Street Collection by No Doubt, and this is before they break. This is before Tragic Kingdom. This is before that album.
This is the ska band when they
Yeah,
were more
this
ska punk.
is
Yeah,
Scott, and this album wasn't that big at the time. Here's an album that was big. Frog Stomp by Silverchair.
yeah. Of course. I
Good,
just
good, good
Jay. That
record.
was a Jay Bloom band. This was like Jay's favorite band.
um, Thank You by Duran Duran, which is a covers album that they did.
No,
Did
it's Duran Duran doing covers. It's not the album where other bands cover Duran Duran.
it's Duran Duran doing covers. Yeah.
Got it.
Wake Up by Boo Radleys.
Oh, that's good. That's good fun.
Yep, good stuff. AM by Wilco.
Now I'm a Wilco fan. Wasn't at the time.
We're not done.
dad rock. It's dad rock now.
Here's a good one: "King for a Day, Fool for a Lifetime" by Faith No More.
Yeah, that's a great album.
Yeah, it's a good record. It's not as big as not as big as their classics, but it's a good album. I love this album. I have it. I still have it to this day. As a matter of fact, I got them to sign it when they came through. My Brother the Cow by Mudhoney.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, so Mudhoney, another an originator of grunge that never broke the mainstream in the same way as like the big names of like Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Soundgarden. But Mudhoney was there before that. They were like around with Tad and the Melvins, and they were part of that vibe. And Mudhoney, dude, they have their catalog of music is really good, especially like if you want to go back and hear that stuff and hear what grunge really was, like the real level of it. Mudhoney's the most approachable. That's still weird and still very Seattle. It's great stuff they put out.
Amazing, and the dudes are all just outstandingly nice. I
That's
mean, I met
awesome.
every single guy in that band that night, and I saw them a couple of years ago. It was just only been a couple of years ago, and they were outstanding. Just amazing guys, really sweet, down to earth. I had like two or three album things I wanted signed. That I asked them if they would sign them for me, and they were more than gracious to do it. So they're all in my collection. I wasn't selling anything. I just had a lot of Mudhoney stuff, so I asked them to sign some stuff for me.
Awesome.
But Only Everything by Juliana Hatfield.
I loved it. Loved that album. Which is weird because I liked women names. But
Well, she called herself the Juliana Hatfield 3 at the time, so it was like, so maybe that, I don't know.
I like the Juliana Hatfield 3 and the Ben Folds 5. It all works out well.
You did like both of them. That's funny. And Return to 36 Chambers by Old Dirty Bastard,
Yeah, boy.
which is his debut, and like it's like the second. I think it's just, yeah, it is the second debut from it's the second solo album from Wu-Tang Clan,
Yeah.
as I know. Yeah. So yeah, and then of course the Tank Girl soundtrack comes out at the end of the month. We've discussed that one, but that's kind of rounds out March in the pretty big.
That's a big list of bangers. That's a
Yeah,
big list. That may be one of the strongest months we've come across so far.
I thought it was pretty good. I was blown away by how many great albums there were, and not just great albums, but stuff that we actually listened to a lot too. You
Yeah,
know?
100%. 100%. And that's kind of the thing with the music for those that may be newer to the show is we try and list like we listen to Tupac. I wasn't as big of a Tupac fan at the time, but like we listened to it, but we try and throw in some little gems. We had Elton John in there. We put in the big names in there, but we also like we try and tailor this to the theme of the show, which is our childhood, our growing up time. So anyway, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Let's get controversial.
So here they are. So this is all 17 acts that we talked about before, a couple episodes ago, and I got the votes. This is just the fan vote. Now remember this: these are not, and just because you're at the top of this list doesn't guarantee you're going to get voted in, because there's
Right.
still that 2,000 person panel that's got to get you in. But this gives you momentum to getting there, is what it usually does, and the top 7 end up on a ballot to kind of help them get there. So you want to be in the top 7. That's the kind of the goal of this vote, right? So number 7, we're going to go from the bottom up, okay? So number 17 was Jeff Buckley, unfortunately.
What?
And he did get a lot of votes, but it's not enough. It's 171,146 votes, and he was number 7.
Wow.
Listen,
Wow.
I it becomes more obvious every time you see stuff like this that people's memories just don't go back as far as you think they do. They
Yeah.
should. Like mine goes back a lot, but I know I'm not the normal person. So like, recency bias helps you in stuff like
Yeah.
this. The
Yeah.
reality, Jeff Buckley passed away many years ago.
Yeah.
And so, like it hurts him in something like this because he's not around to put out new music, and he's not around to go and do shows, and people get to see how great he is. That his listen, his album Grace it's still one of the greatest albums ever made.
Yeah.
And if they can't figure that out, too damn bad. But I hope he gets in at some point in time. I don't think it's going to happen this year, though. Number 16, Joy Division, New Order, 229,862 votes.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get why. I think they're pretty important in music. This is definitely not going the direction I wanted it to go, though.
Oh, it's definitely not going the direction you want it to go. I promise you that. Although you and I are not big fans of this next band, but agreed that they should probably get in at some point, and that is Oasis,
Yeah.
259,942 votes.
So thus far in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, we have had 3 actual rock and roll bands at the bottom. That's what a treat. What a treat. Blackpink made it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before Oasis. What a joy. What a time we live in.
You and I differ on this a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. I don't mind about this. So I do think Jeff Buckley, and I do agree a rock band should get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay, I agree with that. I just know the history of rock music so well that it all pertains to each other. So it's like I understand it, but I also people get messed up by the show. We're not going to go into all that. We did that on the other show.
We did it in the last one.
So, you're not going to like what's happening. I can promise you. Number 14, the Black Crowes, 277,769 votes, and I know we agree they should be in at some point. Number 13, Melissa Etheridge.
Oh my God, Tony! There's not a single. Jeez Louise, this is awful.
Hold on. It's gonna upset you a little. I know that. Melissa Etheridge got 387,393 votes. And number 12 is Iron Maiden.
Oh my God!
395,281 votes. I was encouraged by the fact that Iron Maiden was ahead of Oasis, though.
Yeah,
that made me happy.
They're not even in the top 10.
That made me happy. Some of this you're gonna like, though, because some of this you'll like some of it, but you're not gonna like it all. So number 11 was Lauryn Hill, 472,708.
Okay.
Number 10, you didn't want this person in. Number 10, you did not want in. You were very clear about this when we talked about this. Mariah Carey.
Oh, Lord.
503,549 votes.
Mariah Carey over Iron Maiden.
But she didn't get in over this guy. And this, for the fact that he's still not in this damn Hall of Fame is ridiculous. And that's Billy Idol.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Who got 601,061 votes.
So how do they remember Billy Idol? Because his songs are still played on Top 40 and or not Top 40, but on.
He's touring. He's got a whole tour coming out this year. He's
touring.
He's touring.
Iron Maiden's touring.
Sure, he's going to be around. He's still very much a part of the landscape of music. He's got a new album too, by the way.
Yeah,
it just came out in 2025. That helps,
Yeah, it's fair. Recency bias. All right.
Number 8, and I love these guys. Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh, thank God.
610,083 votes, but they didn't get the top 7.
Yeah, I know, but at least somebody that is a rock and roll band is moving up the chain. Billy Idol too, but like Wu-Tang being like a non-traditional, what people say is rock and roll. They are rock and roll.
They're like Cypress Hill. I mean, like Cypress, essentially like a rock band, right?
Yeah, it's exactly right.
Number 7, and you did think this person belonged when we talked about it, was Sade.
Yeah.
622,997 votes.
I'm okay with that. That one's not the end of the world.
Number 6 was INXS, 645 votes. So
that's shocking that they're that high. That's amazing.
Yeah, but they got up there. We agreed on the next guy. We liked him, and we liked him for this as well. Luther Vandross, 732,747 votes.
Sure.
Number 4 is Shakira.
Oh God, no.
1,034 votes.
Not even close. Not even remotely close. It's the definition of pop. I know we're gonna have that argument. We don't have to have it, but like
I can have that argument here. We don't have time for it, but still. Number three is kind of a, it's a pop, but it's got a lot of rock elements, and that's Pink.
No,
Eight
I'm
hundred,
okay with that.
yeah, 852,581 votes. You're not gonna have a problem with the next guy because he's huge, and that's Phil Collins, nine
Yes.
thousand 900,825 votes. And number one, and I had to kind of talk you into these guys, if you remember, but that is New Edition. They got 1,022,683 votes. They're huge. I
Yeah.
mean, New Edition is huge, and people are going to always look at the fact that they, and you're not supposed to look at solo acts, but they had a lot of solo acts come out of New Edition. And again, like I said, New Edition comes out before a lot of the boy bands do.
Yep.
And if they don't come out, that never happens, probably. I know there were groups that paved the way for New Edition too, especially when you're talking about Motown.
Yeah.
They that paved the way for New Edition, but New Edition kind of paves the way for what's coming out after that, which is like New Kids on the Block and the Backstreet Boys and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. But it's not all bad news for you.
No, it's not. It's just one of those things of, as you said, it's like any of these other. It's recency bias mixed in with a little bit of the definitions not being as explained well enough. And we talked about this last time.
Yeah,
Like,
we just
if you're
true.
going to define it up front, and then everyone's expectations are the same, and then you can make that assessment one way or the other. Because in some cases, you could have people voting just on polarity, right? They're just voting against something to vote. So, you have that challenge. I mean, you know, there's unfortunately bands. A lot of these that are in the top five, at least, are, well, not all of them. Shakira's not. She's pretty recent, but like a lot of the other ones have had a catalog of life to perform and make a difference. So I mean, I get it. It's just silly to call it. Again, it goes back to the same thing. Like, I get the origin of rock and roll. Define it better. Problem solved.
I agree with you on the name. I thought the name, if they changed it to like the Music Hall of Fame, I'd be more okay with that. I'd be great. Okay, I mean more than okay with that. But
Yeah.
they've decided not to do that, and so it starts this whole war between people, and the comments that people talk when they're and you see these things, the comments are just disgusting.
Yeah, I bet they're just brutal.
They're just terrible. I mean, it's just everybody gets so mad, so frustrated over something that's just like you don't even know if anyone's ever visited the damn place.
Right. Right.
I
Stupid silly.
I see that with wrestling all the time too,
Oh yeah.
and they have no qualifications for getting into that.
Nope.
No, I
Just
know. At least this one has one qualification, which is, you have to be 25 years removed from your first album. But that was nothing, and they don't even have a real Hall of Fame.
It's true. It's very true. It's very, very true. I mean,
So it's
maybe they want this controversy because it does get people talking about it, and that's pretty genius marketing wise.
no, it's great.
So, yeah. Oh well. There's albums that came out. Look, so there's some albums on this show that are going to be eligible. Some bands on this show that will be eligible. They'll never make it
Yeah,
because they're not poppy enough, apparently. But they exist.
I mean it helps,
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode. Now, I wanted a quick question. There's a text. I don't want to alert anyone to the wrong direction. Are we moving into summer preview territory?
We kind of have to, yeah, because this is coming out in the middle of this episode. Will come out on Wednesday, and then we got 2 weeks from we record 2 weeks from today, and that's going to put us like right before May. And so yeah, I mean we're gonna try to do all of May this time instead of just like last year we didn't get all of May. We got like the back end of May.
Yep.
So we did like the last week of May. This year we're gonna try to do the entire month of May because it is part of the summer movie season. So we're gonna do May. It'll be have some time because we're gonna we got
Yeah, boy. I was just about to say, mark it on your calendars. Donate, like not donate, but designate at least a chunk of time because this is a fan favorite episode. We cover every single current movie coming out for the summer. This is
Yeah.
not a past episode. We give our predictions. Tony destroyed me last summer. We give our predictions on what we think is going to do well, what's going to be worth seeing in the theaters. My dog's going crazy. But this is it. This is the big summer movie preview. This is your chance to we're giving you fair warning.
Yeah, we're gonna
My dog has gone bananas.
that's our cue.
Yeah, definitely that. Okay, Tony, any last words?
Now, peace.
All right.